Other interesting political news, you have the Department of Justice suing states for removing illegals from their voting rolls, which, yeah, we knew, I don't know, a lot of people thought this was a parody. Nope, it's actually happening, and at this point, I don't think we should be surprised. This comes to us thanks to Greg Price over at the good old X, when she says, quote, breaking, Kamal's Department of Justice is suing the state of Virginia because they removed non-citizens from voter rolls. Yes, this is real. Kamal's DOJ is suing Virginia because Glenn Youngkin removed people from the rolls who were legally barred from voting in American elections. And the article, well, it's a little bit too small to put on the screen, but I'll pull it up here. Now it says, Justice Department sues Virginia for violating federal laws prohibiting systematic efforts to remove voters within 90 days of the election. Washington. The Justice Department announced it has filed a lawsuit against the state of Virginia, Virginia State Board of Elections, and Virginia Commissioner of Elections to challenge a systematic state program aimed at removing voters from the election cycles too close to the November 5th general election in the violation of the National Voter Registration Act of 1993, boringly called acronym-wise NVRA. Now they say, quote, Section 8C2 of the NVRA, also known as the Quiet Period Provision, requires states to complete systematic programs aimed at removing the names of eligible voters from voter registration lists no later than 90 days before federal elections. The Quiet Period Provisions applies to certain systematic programs carried out by states that are aimed at striking names from voter registration lists based on perceived failure to meet initial eligibility requirements, including citizenship at the time of registration. Politicians hate our country. That's not in there. That's my comment. The last paragraph says, quote, as the National Voter Registration Act mandates, officials across the country should take heed of the law's crystal clear and unequivocal restrictions on systematic list maintenance efforts that fall within the 90 days of election, said Assistant General Attorney Christian Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. By canceling voter registrations within 90 days of election day, Virginia places qualified voters in jeopardy of being removed from the rolls and created a risk of confusion from the electorate. Congress adopted the National Voters Registration Act quiet period restriction to prevent error-prone 11th hour efforts that all too often disenfranchise qualified voters. Yeah, let me let that sink in there. I should have a pin to use as a prop to drop on the table. Let that pin drop. So they're worried about, disenfranchised qualified voters. People who are legally here, are they qualified voters? Precisely, no. It's one of the few things we get for being taxpayers. Not that we get much these days in terms of a benefit. Now, and being an American citizen. They say, quote, the right to vote is the cornerstone of our democracy, and the Justice Department will continue to ensure the rights of qualified voters are protected. I mean, what's the benefit of actually coming here legally and doing everything right? Your taxes are sent overseas to help out with countries you can't point to on a map when it comes to humanitarian aid. It goes pretty much everywhere but here. Hurricane victims basically nothing. And you used to be a benefit of being a citizen here that no one else got. You got to vote. And yeah, it looks like that's not even an exclusive benefit anymore. They're saying, oh yeah, and interestingly enough, we covered this throughout the whole calendar year. The amount of people who are registering illegal, illegal people who are increasing their voter registration, exponentially jumped the past 60, 90 days. So imagine all you have to do is wait till like 89 days before it, register every single one of them, or do it right before that, and then they just, oh yeah, they can't get rid of them. Even if you could prove they're here illegally? How does that make any sense at all? It makes sense if you want to cheat, but in terms of, modesty, integrity, morality, the Constitution, founding fathers, how does that make any sense? Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Now, I was going to say thankfully this went viral, but at this point, I'm not sure if it really matters, because even if every American realized this was happening, is there any real recourse? Doesn't really sound like it. Now, it did go moderately viral, got 1.6 million views and 34,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Cash Loren saying, quote, there is only one reason for Democrats to want to weaken election laws, getting 535 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, they're complaining because it's happening within the 90-day window before the election. If someone is known for not allowing to vote, why on earth should it matter how close to election day they're removed from the rolls? It only matters when they're trying to cheat, getting 757 likes. Precisely. Justin Kelly says, quote, I've been told that the same DOJ that the executive branch has no role in state election law. Good point. Getting 1.6 thousand likes. Scrolling down more and more. Larvin, not trying to mispronounce her name intentionally. I believe that's her name. Spicer. She says she's a communist and hates the nation, getting 213 likes. Simon Van Dyke says this is a plan they've had since 2020. They know if these people are on the rolls, votes can be cast in their name, and it's not likely to be found out because being barred from voting, they won't be trying to vote themselves, getting 272 likes. June, the Destroyer, says, so Donald J. Trump really might win Virginia, getting 161 likes. Hello, I'm Kelly Joe, says, Kamala can't win without cheating, getting 629 likes. JD Sharp says she's about to lose in Virginia, getting 570 likes. Ellie says, imagine that, being sued for following the law. For removing people who aren't allowed to vote in our elections. Absolutely clown world we live in, getting 507 likes. Fact check, Drew. Let's see here. Oh, we do have a contrarian statement, so we had to scroll a little bit to find it, but we did find one thus far. Someone by the name of thank you, Joe Biden. That's her profile name. How much is she getting paid? Thank you, Joe Biden, for what? She describes herself as a livid introvert, though she's tweeting. Also, she's a democracy fan, creative INFJ, animal advocate, forgotten Gen Xer, there is no planet B. Followed by a lot of leftists. So yeah, I'll give her a follow just to keep Evan's contrarian statements brewed to the surface so you get, echo chambers get a little bit boring. She says, how much is Russia paying you to lie, or do you do it just because you're MAGA quote moron? Mentally vacuous, but she did get 211 likes. See, scrolling down more and more. Christine Campbell says they don't care. Who knows? They'll cheat to win. We need to share this everywhere to make it a huge story, getting 59 likes. Guy King says they will find a corrupt judge that will allow illegals to vote, getting 67 likes. Certifiable MAGA, pretty good name, exactly the political perspective. Says, quote, what part of you have to be American to vote? Do they not get getting 106 likes? Let's see. I need more contrarian statements. Andrew Flowett says, literally, if you don't break the law, we will sue you, getting 66 likes. Sharon Palmer says, Glenn Youngkin is the wrong governor to mess with. He will not back down, getting 22 likes. David Westerlem says, come on, man. Well, it's kind of funny. Every time you hear that, certain terms kind of just think of a person. Come on, man. That's kind of like Trump with China. Every time I hear come on, man, I think of Biden like, come on, man. He says, come on, man. How are they going to win if they don't rig? Getting 31 likes. Let's see. Charlemagne Habert says, Democrats don't want the names removed from the voter rolls because how else are they going to send the fake ballots based on the registration numbers? Getting 86 likes. Let's see. So a couple of contrarian statements, but overall, kind of major consensus in terms of how on earth is the federal government doing this. But at the end of the day, we'll see what actually happens. Let's just say I'm pretty skeptical to see, any upside to it, or if anything actually, anything comes to fruition that actually resolve the issue. But let me know at the end of the day. A lot of states try to do the right thing, and Texas was sued by the federal government for defending our border, which is so evil and mentally vacuous it can hardly comprehend it. But let me know in the comments, what do you think the end of the result is going to be, and how much of a swing or how much of an impact could it have on the upcoming election? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make sure better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.